Hello, welcome to Workforce Wednesday. I'm Anna Browne with the Morrow Workforce Development Center. I'm the Workforce Development Specialist, and joining me for Workforce Wednesday today, we have Ken Daniel and Phil Hamm, and I'll let you guys introduce yourselves and tell us where you're from and why you're here today. We're excited to have you.
Okay. I'm Ken Daniel. I'm the Executive Director of the Blue Mountain Community College Foundation, and we're located in Pendleton for the most part, but work throughout the whole school district, which covers about 18,000 square miles from Pendleton, Boardman, Milton, Freewater, Baker County, out and all the way south and north. And so we cover quite an area, and so we're focusing a lot this year in the Hermiston Boardman area, and so we're just happy to be here today to be able to chat with you about what we're doing.
Great.
Well, and I'm, of course, Phil Hamm. I'm the chairman of the Blue Mountain Community College Foundation, and happy to be here to talk to all those who might be listening.
Yeah, so we're excited, and we're going to make sure that Phil doesn't talk too much today, because sometimes when he gets on the radio or live or something, he's a big chatter, so it's fine.
I can't believe you would say that. I have stage fright as we speak.
I'm sure.
Is your face red?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so we're excited. We're going to talk today about the BMCC Foundation and what they do for our community and students across our region. And so I'm just going to start by firing off some questions for you guys.
I have a question for you first.
Okay, question.
Before our conversation, did you know that BMCC had a foundation?
Actually, I did, and that's because I met Ken at a meeting a couple of months ago.
Okay, so before that, though, you didn't?
Probably not. I did know that they handed out scholarships, but I didn't really realize that they came from the foundation.
Okay.
So that's kind of why we're sharing this today, because I think there's a lot of people who don't realize, A, that the foundation exists, and B, that it's doing all of these great things.
Absolutely, and thank you, because that's the very reason I asked that question. We find that most people do not know that the foundation exists, and we do great things, and we'll talk about some of those.
All right. So you kind of gave us a little bit of an introduction, Ken, about the foundation, but how long has the foundation been at BMCC that none of us have been knowing about?
So the foundation was put together in 1963, so a little over 60 years ago. Yeah. And so it's been around for quite a while. But it's been it was started out as just strictly a scholarship foundation. And so under the office of the president, they would receive funds and then give those funds out as scholarships. And that took place for the first 25 years, give or take, until the late 80s. And then they tried to refocus the foundation into growing it to be a little more with their first executive director, Karen. And from Karen to Margaret Giannotti, then to myself, we've been growing the foundation into a more traditional foundation, where we have the opportunity not only to raise money for scholarship, but also to support the college and some of the college needs. Even though we don't provide salaries or benefits, we do work to help with programs, activities. We also help in capital projects as well.
Great. For people who don't know, that are listening and maybe don't understand what a foundation is, can you give just a quick little synopsis of kind of like what a foundation is?
Sure.
Bill, and what it does?
Oh, I wasn't sure. Okay, yeah. Happy to. Of course, the foundation, we're a 501c3 organization, which means anything that's contributed to us is tax deductible. All right, and so a foundation is set up to have a board of directors, and that board of directors have certain responsibilities. Primarily is to hire or fire and evaluate the executive director, who Ken is. We also have the fiduciary responsibility to manage the funds that we have, and of course follow the procedures or policies that the foundation establishes. That's in a nutshell.
Okay, that sounds great. So what does the foundation provide specifically to students in our area?
That's the question, really.
Right.
And we have done significant things. Ken, go ahead. I mean, I don't want to take a thunder here. Anna's already said I talk too much.
Well, the foundation, one of the primary responsibilities is to help them pursue their educational goals and help them launch themselves into a career. And so they go to a community college to gain that initial thrust into their career, their education, right after high school or right after the a job opportunity, they want to better themselves. And so the foundation has been providing to those students opportunities to reduce their tuition costs or fees through scholarships. And scholarships are, we give out anywhere from $1,000 to $8,000, $9,000 in scholarships to an individual. Or as a whole, last year we gave out $268,000 total to over 120 some students.
So, I think it's real important, and I think we read in the paper all the time about this organization or that organization that gave 2 or 3 or 5 scholarships, totaling maybe 10 or 12 or even $15,000. And I think it's really important to emphasize that we gave out last year $265 or close, $1,000. That's a lot of money. $250,000 we gave out just last year. In the last 7 years, we've given out over $1.6 million in scholarships for kids. We are a major scholarship granting organization.
That's huge. And I think for us, the biggest thing is that these are going to kids that right here in our area, students in our area. And I know I was just at an assembly at Riverside last week, and I think that a representative from the foundation gave out about $18,000 just at RHS last week, and that doesn't take into account the other schools in the district. So that's super exciting. How do students apply for a foundation scholarship?
It's quite simple, actually. They have to get a BMCC ID. Basically, that comes through applying to the college. Not that they're committed to go at that point. They just apply. They get a ID number. They get an email, and then they go on to what we call our Woke Web, which is our individual website for students to get their information. There, they are able to apply one application for over 80 scholarships. And then as they apply, those scholarships are reviewed by over 50 individuals, and then they come back and they're rated, and they take that rating, and they are the top students in all those categories then are provided scholarships.
Cool. So does that include scholarships only for students coming straight out of high school, or students of all ages?
Well, you're way ahead of me.
Yeah. Students of all ages. They can be from high school. They can be returning students. They can be students that have never gone to college and coming right out of the workforce into bettering themselves. So we do provide scholarships for all levels.
And I just want to add that, and of course you already know this, Anna, that BMCC has been here for a long time, and we provide an opportunity for, I was going to say kid, but in fact, as Ken just said, it could be kids of all ages to come and begin their college education local, save some money, and if you're at least reasonably qualified, you can get money from the foundation, Blue Mountain Community College Foundation, to attend BMCC. My middle one, Jackie, attended BMCC, went to Eastern after that, and now works for Lamb Weston. I'm not sure if you've met her, but nevertheless, the idea is that we want students to be successful. We give them an opportunity to help defray the costs of their tuition. It's easy to get the money if you're just a reasonable student in terms of grades and so forth. You can go to BMCC either on the technical side or the college transfer side and start your education there.
Right, and I think that that's great to know, because we have so many students participating in dual credit in our region that they already have a Wolf ID, and they already are in the system because they're registered for these dual credit classes that our high schools are providing. And so they're already in there, and should they want, when they graduate high school or something like that, they can complete the application really easy.
And what's the most shameful thing that you can think of is that we have dollars that go unused because kids don't apply, or students don't apply. So it's real important to do that.
Yeah. Well, we all
Yeah, so like this year we have over $240,000 in scholarship money available. And in our first cycle, we run 2 cycles to review scholarship applications. The first is in the spring of the year, the second's in the fall. And our first cycle just concluded in March. We awarded over $105,000. So there's over $135,000 left to be awarded, which that application process starts in September and then closes in October. And that goes for the fall term, fall, winter, and spring terms. And so there's money there. We give out, our minimum scholarship is $1,000 to a student, and that helps them get through that whole course throughout the year.
Right.
So,
Well, that's good to know, because a lot of times we have students from the time of graduation till when fall term starts that make changes and decide to go on a different path than what they originally thought when they first graduated from high school. And so I think it's super smart to have that grant cycle or scholarship cycle in the fall as well, because some students make a change in where they're going and what they're doing in that 3 months of time. So you're giving out all of this money. How do you actually get money? How do you raise money for the foundation? So let's talk a little bit about that.
I want to take that one off.
I'm being
You're a
tempted,
really
but
good
go ahead.
fundraiser, Phil. Go ahead.
Well, we'll let Phil start with that one.
Okay.
I'll clean up.
Well, I would say, of course, we do a number of things. Of course, people can just contribute to the foundation. One of the reasons that we're trying to get the word out that the foundation exists is to raise dollars. The more money we raise, the more scholarships we can give. It's as simple that we currently have about $5 million in endowed accounts that we have, that we gain the interest from, that we use for supporting the scholarships we have now. But the more we put into that, so, you know, Anna, you could just write us a check, the Blue Mountain Community College Foundation, and that's one way. Other ways that people have given us land, we've had, of course, those kinds of contributions that I think are normal to when you think about contributing to a 501c3 organization. The other way, of course, we have events.
Yes.
And we have an event coming up in August.
According to your website.
Okay, and Ken, you want to talk about that?
So the event coming up on August 25th is in Milton Free Waters, called Rocks to Wine, Tour to Dine.
Will there be wine there?
There'll be wine.
See, it's funny how that name goes along with that.
Yeah, I've already marked my calendar for this.
So
one.
we're celebrating the Rocks District up there, trying to highlight some of their fine wines and be able to have a wonderful evening sharing the wines. We have several individuals that are going to be talking about the dirt, the rocks, why it's so important. We have people talking about the pairing, and we have people just talking about the importance of the district, and as it is growing into one of the more known wine districts in the area. And so it's going to be a fabulous night. We're looking forward to having that. Tickets are going to be available starting in August, and we'll be able to fill. It's going to be quite a event. We have a small small venue, so seats are tight. So if you're interested, we'll give you some contact information here towards the end. Feel free to contact us and have us be able to see what we can do.
So there we'll charge for the tickets.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one way we'll raise dollars, and then we'll have some very few auction items or something like that as well, or how's that going to work?
Yeah, during the event, we'll have an opportunity to have what we call a wall of wine, where they can select wine, pull out
Say that again.
a wall of wine.
A wall of wine. Yeah,
Like
okay.
like a cork.
Yeah.
Cork bowl, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have over 50 bottles there or more that the patrons can come and put their money in and pull the corks and be able to see which wines they get.
So some are expensive wines, some are cheaper wines, and you hope you get a good one,
Yeah,
right?
hope you get a
I'm
good
not sure
one.
there's cheap wine anywhere in the Walnut
Well,
Valley area.
I could tell you about my high school days, but we'll go.
Well,
Yeah.
but it's all very good wine. So we also have a few items to be auctioned off. We'll have a trip down to Redmond. We'll also have a variety of different baskets highlighting some of the areas and businesses in the area, and so we're excited about that. And that's going to be an opportunity also to raise funds for student scholarships in the Walla Walla, Milton Free Water, and adjoining area.
So that's just one event, but we have other events we're planning for the future to raise dollars, and so any number of ways to get dollars to build a endowment fund to allow us to get more interest on a yearly basis, so we can support more scholarships.
Right. Okay, so your website gives a little bit of information about this idea of legacy giving, or your financial planning for later in life or afterlife.
Right.
And I think that part, that's kind of interesting, because I think a lot of people, when they're making those plans, are really focused on, their family aspect and that kind of things. But how can they work on gifting to a great institution like BMCC?
Great question.
So there's a variety of different ways to do that. So they first need to start with a financial planner or somebody that can help them understand what their philanthropic desires are. Once they desire what their desires are, then they can either be a bequest to a nonprofit like the BMCC Foundation, or they can do a will, they can do trust, they can do insurance. Phil's already mentioned property. They can do a cash donation. They can do a variety of different things, and depending on what their desires are. And so once they desire to give us some dollars, whether it's in scholarship or whether it's in memorial or tribute or however they would like to distinguish it, or give it to help a program or something within the college, then we take those funds, and whether they're just traditional dollars given or put into an endowed type fund, where the endowed money is, we only use the corpus and the interest off that money, where the other is spent down until that money is used up. And so we have both those funds in investments, and as those investments grow, those funds continue to grow as well.
Great.
So, Anna, did you know, here we go.
Okay.
Did you know that when you turn 72 and a half, you have to start pulling money out of your individual retirement account? And
I'm a ways from 72 and a half.
Well, no, you're 50 years,
No,
well, anyway, not quite, maybe, but nevertheless, the point being is that you can have those dollars go directly to a 501c3, and it's not considered income for you, and of course it is a tax deduction because you're giving it away. So, you two are hardly 50 or 72 and a half. I'm getting close to that, but still seemingly forever away. But nevertheless, I mean, those are things that there's lots of opportunities, and really it's about providing opportunities for students. So, I used to go into high schools quite a bit, and career classes and so forth, and they'd always ask me the very first question. You know what that first question would be?
How much money do you make?
Absolutely, always the very first question.
Yep.
And I always deflected that and said, if you had to get up every morning for 30 to 40 years and go to work, you've done this for 12 years going to school, it's kind of a drag sometimes, but work, you have to go. And if you're gonna do it for 30 to 40 years, wouldn't you like to have a job that you enjoy? I had a job for nearly 45 years I really enjoyed. Sometimes the people I've always had a great job. Anna used to work with me for a few years. Anyway, the bottom line is going to school, get good grades allows you the opportunity to become anything you want to be, and and enjoy the 30 or 40 years of your career. And BMCC is just a stepping stone, and BMCC Foundation is just an opportunity to help get to that job that you really like.
Yeah, I agree with that. So if you're in that financial planning process, or you're doing that maybe for a different family member, how does the foundation acknowledge those gifts? I think that's kind of interesting, because a lot of times, in the assembly last week, we were hearing a presentation of the so-and-so something trust, or this and that. And I think that that's important for people to realize that money came from somewhere. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. In the scholarship side, we can always name a scholarship after your family, after an individual in your family, or a business.
Mm-hmm. Or
yourself. And so it just depends on what they like, how they like that name. We can do it in memory of someone, a memorial type scholarship, or a tribute scholarship that recognizes any of those types of areas, from family, friends, relatives, grandparents, to a business. And so all that's very possible. As we move forward in doing different things at the college, there is ways to get your legacy name onto something. And so we can talk more about that. Depends on what the college is into. There's all sorts of levels of giving that'll elevate your name into something. You know, we have the McCrae Athletic Center, you know, was one example of that. And there is many other opportunities out there. But the important part is deciding what is important for you as a family. Make sure your family needs are taken care of, and how does your family want to have their legacy, or your individual legacy, or your business legacy.
Great. So I'm guessing there's still room for growth.
Always.
Which is why we're here, because the more money that you raise, the more money you can give. So talk a little bit about, you know, how do we get in contact with you? And we've talked a lot about individual giving, but is there an opportunity for some corporate giving that we haven't talked about?
Precisely, and I would like to bring that up right now.
Okay.
We call our career technical program, it's basically a career technical, which means it's a certificated type programs like welding, diesel tech, data tech, nursing, and a variety of different technical fields. In those fields, some of those are just down to getting a certificate for forklift or your driver, diesel trucks, or a variety of different things. You need to get certificated in order to be able to do that. And the career technical program is one of those areas. It's back to workforce training, basically. And so a lot of here in the Boardman area, a lot in Hermiston, some of these are needed to help build a workforce for them. And so, as you know, there's a lot of need right now into the workforce.
Right.
But we need trained individuals to go and learn how to drive a forklift, to be able to drive a semi, to be able to do a variety of different things within a company. They need to have that certification to be able to move up. And that's what the college offers right now. And for a foundation, we have been tasked with an opportunity to help reduce the cost of that training, to help people come in and get trained. For anybody that comes to college and wants a 3-term certificate, or like data tech goes over a course of a year, diesel goes over a course of a year, there's traditional scholarships for them. But if they're coming in to get certification just for this, for I use forklift a lot.
Right, yeah, because we have it coming up here in Boardman. Forklift training is coming up.
And you know, that's a short term, it's over 2 weeks or 3, and you're in, you're out. There's not enough time to fill out an application, get a review, get a process. Oh, by the way, here you go. You've already graduated, you already paid your fee. So our goal is to provide a way to reduce that fee. So if a course is costing you $500, maybe we can reduce that to $250. So, and working with the companies like here in the Boardman area, if they're willing to help support that, we can reduce the cost of their employees coming and getting trained at probably a reduced rate than what it would actually cost them to provide the training themselves.
So Ken, does it make sense then for them to ask whoever they work for to see if there is some kind of program that might encourage them to contact the foundation to develop that relationship? The second thing is, you know, if you are listening to this podcast and wonder if BMCC provides whatever this is that you want to do, who would they call, Ken?
Well, first of all, we have over 33 different career technical programs at the college. And so to contact them about a career choice, you would have to call the Office of Instruction at the college, and we'll be able to provide that to you for your podcast.
So you can just call and say, hey, does a college provide fly fishing classes? And that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. I mean, they probably don't have fly fishing, but I mean, they could ask any question. It's not no question is a dumb question. They could ask and see if that program exists.
That is so true. There's an online catalog which they can look and see if the program's listed there as well. But if they just want to call and get some everybody, they can call me. And my name again is Ken Daniel. My phone number is 541-278-5775. They can email me at kdaniel@bluecc.edu, or they can just go on the website at www.bluecc.edu, and they can find the information there as well. And so there's a variety of ways to contact us and contact different parts of the college in order to get the answers that they're searching for.
Awesome. So a direct contact to BMCC or also we work really closely with the CTE department at BMCC and lots of other departments with our workforce training center as well. And anyone can reach out to Stephanie or I and we can get everybody connected.
So maybe one other thing, I can't encourage enough of anyone who might be listening to this who has some interest in doing something different or learning something new, okay? And if they have any question whatsoever about what the foundation can do to help them or anything like that, they should give Ken a call. Ken is an easy person to talk with, very helpful, and he'll point whoever into the right direction. We want students to succeed in what their educational goals are. Okay, so that's, whatever that looks like, they need to just give us a call.
Yeah,
Great.
if you're changing professions or just trying to increase your marketability, or if you want to get a promotion, we're here to help, and we're here to help provide those opportunities.
Okay.
And if you're listening and want to contribute to us,
For sure.
you can give Ken a call as well.
Ken a call as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So thank you guys for being here today. We're happy to host the BMCC Foundation and look for us next month for Workforce Wednesday.
Thank you.
Okay, so now you gotta edit out one piece.